I'll now call to order this meeting of September 9th, 2019. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you could please stay standing for a moment. I'd just like to take this time and I'd like to call for a moment of silence for Mr. Tom Kendall, Chairman of the Auburn School Committee. And we'll say this before we begin. It is always a shock to lose someone that you're working so closely with and have for the last couple of years. And I will say Mr. Kendall will be sorely missed, both in municipal and school government, as well as the general community and all of his philanthropical activities. So, again, please join me in that moment of silence. Thank you very much. We'll say the city will be working in conjunction with the school committee to let everybody know of any future plans, memorials, and so forth that will be happening, so we can remember Tom's contribution to Auburn and his family. Okay. We have two consent items on the agenda tonight. At this point, I'll entertain a motion.
I move we approve the consent agenda items.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilor Fournier and a second from Councilor Walker. Show of hands, all those in favor? Opposed, abstained, none being. The consent items carried by a vote of 7-0. We also have the minutes to approve of the August 19th, 2019 regular council meeting. Are there any corrections? None being? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the August 19th, 2019 regular city council meeting. Do I have a second? Excuse me, do I have a motion?
So moved.
I got a motion by Councilor Hayes, a second. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Fournier. Show of hands, all those in favor. Okay, passes 7-0. Now on to communications, presentations, and recognition. Okay, first, I'd like to recognize a great partner for the city of Auburn. I got a couple comments here I'd like to make. Maple Way Dental. And today we have Dr. Kenley and Carl Shalene from Maple Way, and I think Dr. Kenley's son, who is yet to be working at the practice, I hope. He seems to be 8. Okay, not yet. First of all, Maple Street Dental. Before that, it was Center Street Dental. We've known them. They've been here for years and years. I got to tell you, probably one of the most active businesses in the city of Auburn and Lewiston. Even though they moved to Lewiston, they are ingrained in our community fabric. In both sides of the river, and their contributions to organizations such as the Police Athletic League, our PAL Center, Norway Savings Bank Arena, the Halloween candy buyback program that they do and save a lot of future visits to the practice. And as a foundation member and contributor to the 150th or sesquicentennial celebration, without their contributions, half of what we've pulled off would not have been done. Even just randomly seeing them at our community band on a Wednesday night, giving every member a red rose. Something that's just, above the norm, above just writing a check, but literally being there and helping promote the community in which they're in. I can't begin to thank them enough, and I hope the entire council, I know city staff, and the rest of the city of Auburn and Lewiston can really come together and join me in thanking them. And because of that, I'd like to introduce Dr. Kenley and Carl Shalene up front, please. So I just didn't have you come here so I could talk. I do have gifts. First of all, I'd like to award this key to the city. It is absolutely real, fake solid gold. So I'd like to see that. It will open up any door in here. Maybe, probably not. We'll try it. Don't try it after hours. Chief's over here. I also like to present to you some honorary coins too. First is the Auburn Police Department, City of Maine, just for all the work you've done with our PAL program and really helping support Chief and the chiefs before him do great work. Second, City of Auburn. I already said why. Second, Auburn Fire Department. Okay, really appreciate all the hard work you do around Halloween, especially at Norway Savings Bank and the buyback program. So thank you. Limited edition, that might be worth something one day, but don't hold your breath. If I get the council up here, I'd like to get a joint picture. And Chief, Dan Goyette, Assistant City Manager,
Don't you worry. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. One more time. All right, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
I'll see you tomorrow around 10:30. I got a reminder today. Good thing.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Oh, wait a second. This is why I need a special chair. Ah, that came out nice. That's good. I'm glad everybody came to the front. That makes a difference. Okay. Now, on to communications. Our next presentation we're going to actually have today is from the Auburn Business Association. And Darcy Bowden is the president of the ABA. If you could come right down here, I'd love to hear from you about everything the ABA is doing in the city of Auburn in past and in the future.
Hi, I'm Darcy Bowden. I'm at Skelton Tainter and Abbott and the current president of the Auburn Business Association. Thank you for the invitation to come before you this evening. We appreciate it. The Auburn Business Association has a long tradition in Auburn. It was established, I looked back, in 1969 as sort of a networking ability for local businesses to network together. We meet monthly. We have about 40 members or so now, give or take, any given year. We're always looking for more. The members are either citizens of Auburn who work elsewhere, or Auburn business owners who live elsewhere but work here, or a combination of all of those above. We just finished one of our events, which was an annual golf tournament. The golf tournament is near and dear to our heart because we raise money to help purchase decorations for downtown Auburn during the holidays. So each year we put aside money we raise from the golf tournament for that purchase. And in recent years, Scott Holland from the Public Works Department has joined our board and has really increased that communication between the ABA and the City of Auburn, particularly with respect to the holiday decorations and that process. So we're working now to think towards holiday decorations for this year. I think he purchased some banners. There's all those lovely I can never say that word.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, close.
That one.
Close.
All those banners around town, and now we've purchased some holiday ones to replace them up when the celebration for that is over, to still use the anchoring for it, but have some holiday banners. So I think those were purchased recently with last year's funds, and so we'll be looking to see if there's more this year or save it for next year if there's nothing there. So that's one of our events. Our other signature event you've probably heard of is the Citizen of the Year celebration that we do every May. We take nominations through January, and the board chooses a Citizen of the Year each year to honor. And if you look at our list of Citizens of the Year, it's quite an exemplary group of people. And every so often we try to have an event where we invite all the Citizens of the Year back and have a little bit of celebration. We did one of those a couple years ago, and we'll probably do one again soon. People sort of enjoy having that reunion, so to speak, of those events. And then, of course, we participate in the holiday parade and celebration, and then this year the Sesquicentennial celebration parade as well. So it's generally what we do, but I don't know if you had any questions or wanted some more information about our organization.
On behalf of the council and everybody in Auburn, thank you. I mean, for a civic organization to have that much dedication to singular events over and over really is important. And I don't think a city would be a city without a Citizen of the Year. So for that, and I've been to a couple of them, and they are truly great events. Councilor, start on the left. Any questions? Any comments? No? Over here on the right?
Comment. I got a comment.
You can have a comment. That's fine. Yeah.
I want to thank you for all that you do, and I know exactly what you people do out there for us, and Santa Claus loves you too, so that's about all we have to
Well,
say.
we enjoy participating in the holiday celebration. We usually hand out some hot cocoa, some Timbits that are used to be Timbits, now it's Munchkins, I believe, but donated locally. And then we hand out mittens also for local kids.
That's right.
So we enjoy that.
And on cold nights, that hot chocolate is great. Thank you.
Along with the mittens.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? I will take this time and just put a buzz, or a little plug, I should say, for the holiday parade. It's going to be on a different date this year. December 6th, which falls under is it a weekend still or a weekday?
Weekend.
You know that? I know we're trying something a little bit different. We'll be starting in Lewiston this year and ending at Festival Plaza in Auburn.
Friday night?
Yeah, I believe it is.
It's a Friday night, I believe, yes.
Right, correct. So we're looking forward. We've had thousands of people at this event last year. I'm looking forward to thousands more this year because of the change of date. So thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you on December 6th, probably a little before too.
Yes, and we look forward to future work with the city for sure.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is open session. I'm going to open up the first open session of the night to members of the public who are invited to speak to the council about any issue directly related to city business, which is not on the agenda. I'd ask you to state your name and address, and please limit your comments to 3 minutes. I'll also state there is a slight change in open session. We have a podium, which is, knock on wood, live. So we're going to ask everybody, similar to what they do in Lewiston, to come up and give your remarks at the podium. Is there anybody who'd like to be the first for open session?
Kristen, there you go.
This is different.
You're the
Good
first one.
evening.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Rhianna LaRose. I live on 164 Bennett Avenue. And I'm here tonight because I wanted to bring a safety issue that's been kind of bothering me. Basically, right in front of Fairview School, where you have Minot Avenue, in between Poland Road, there's this side street called Allen or Elaine Ave. And there are these very giant hedges that face the part where you're going to pull out onto the Minot Ave section. It's been a huge safety issue for a long time. We've had a lot of accidents on that corner, even some fatalities. And with all the little kids going back to school, crossing there, I think that intersection really needs to be kind of looked at. I don't know what the easy way around that is. I'm sure that the hedges are up there to kind of buffer a little bit of the noise from that busy intersection. But you have people now parking on both sides of that street, and it makes it really difficult for people trying to cross through traffic, especially with these little kids crossing through that intersection on that crosswalk. I do know that we have extra crossing guards out there, and even the police department's been out there helping, but even off hours without the children there, it's still very dangerous for people to be pulling out and then making a left. You know, with the winter coming, plowing gets even worse. This would be the time to kind of look at that. We also have that new housing development over there, so I know that traffic's going to continue to increase. This actually might be even worse. Now would really be the time to kind of look at that. I mean, making a bold, I guess just thinking outside the box, I almost wonder if it would be kind of behoove us to look at maybe turning that into a one-way, so you could only pull from possibly Minot Avenue onto Poland, and maybe you could not pull from Poland and then make a left onto Minot Avenue. That might be helpful also, but thank you.
Do you mind if I ask her a question?
No, please. And then I think the manager might have a comment on that.
Over a year ago, I filed a complaint about that street in terms of heavy-duty trucks, great big huge trucks, taking that as a shortcut. Are you seeing that still going on?
I'm still seeing box trucks cutting through there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Manager, you said this has been brought to the attention. You know, to update, or do we want to do an email update later?
Well, I can do an email update on it with more details, but it is something that we have looked at and worked on. I'll provide you with an email update. I appreciate the comments.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else for public comment? None being? I'll now close this open session. Moving along, we have some unfinished business. We have ordinance 09-05202019, adopting the proposed amendment to Chapter 60, Section 60-1035-1042. This is in reference to odors. This is the second reading, and I'll entertain a motion at this time.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilor Fournier, a second from Councilor Walker. Open this up for the public for comment. Is there anybody from the public that would like to comment on this? None being, I'm going to bring this back to the council. Council, conversation? None? Okay. We're going to ask, I'm going to ask for a roll call vote. Ms. Clerk?
Counselor Lasagna?
Yes.
Counselor Hayes?
Yes.
Counselor Titus?
Yes.
Counselor Fournier?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Young?
Yes.
Counselor Gary?
Yes.
The ordinance passes by a vote of 7-0. Next, we have ordinance 11-08192019, adopting the proposed amendment to Chapter 60, Section 60-201, Use Regulations Permitted Uses. Now, this is a second reading. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved. Whoops, go ahead.
I have a motion from Councilor Walker. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
I have a second from Councilor Fournier. I'll open this up to the public for public comment. Is there any? None being, we're going to bring this back to the council for conversation. Again, second reading. Do we have any conversation? Councilor Gary.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. What exactly does this amendment do?
I'm going to address this directly so I do not mess it up because I was not here at the last meeting. Mr. Assistant City Manager, could you interject? Again, it is in your packet though as well.
Just looking up the correct one. Let me just grab it.
Use regulations, permitted uses. It's 201A1.
There we go. So if you look at your packet, this order is referencing out of order on here. Section 60. Councilor Gary, is there something in particular you're looking for? This was in the packets that identified these as the second reading. The changes were as it referenced to ensuring that this was looking at all applicable facilities or activities that are within the proper zoning. But did you have a specific question that you're looking for?
No, at the last meet, I mean no disrespect, and I don't mean to put anybody on the spot. What I had requested was, when we have this type of things put on the agenda, a brief summary, something, so that when the general public sees it, then they'll know exactly what's going on. We know what's going on because we read the packets and we get the full gist of the information through workshops and asking questions. But the general public just hears us ramble off a bunch of numbers and say we're amending X, Y, and Z.
Okay, the info sheet's pretty clear. I would tell everybody at home to reference the info sheet generated by the city manager's office. There's a synopsis, previous meetings, history, et cetera, that's there. Pretty clear language, just so in case anybody has not knowing where to look, always look for the info sheets. That'll be the first step in helping guide you through the process.
So we had to make some changes as it pertained to this regarding low-density residential districts. That's what this focus was on, was ensuring that language ensured that as we were looking at medical or adult use cultivation and manufacturing, that it was addressing those areas. If you recall, this went through first reading prior to this previous first reading. However, it just wasn't identified when Municode, which is a system that takes all of our ordinances and puts them into place for us. They didn't see the actual breakout of that order, so that's why it's being brought back before you. So.
Thank you. That's what I wanted to bring forward, because people at home that don't have computers, or those that have come here and attended the different meetings, they're not here tonight, so they may not have caught the gist of what we're trying to do now. And thank you very much,
Sure.
Mr. Mayor and Assistant City Manager.
Do we have any other questions or comments? Councilor
I
Fournier.
just want to concur what Councilor Gary had said. If you look at the very beginning of each of those subsections where you see purpose would have the exact lingo that you're looking for. That's all you would need. It's really self-explanatory. So that would be a good thing to look at. Pull out the purpose, put it right underneath each of the ordinance suggestions.
Okay. If there's no further comment, I'm going to hand this over to the clerk for a roll call vote, please.
Counselor Lasagna?
Yes.
Counselor Hayes?
Yes.
Counselor Titus?
Yes.
Counselor Fournier,
Yes.
Counselor Walker,
Yes.
Counselor Young,
Yes.
Counselor Gary,
Yes.
Okay, the ordinance passes by a vote 7-0. Next, we have ordinance 12-08192019, adopting the proposed amendment to Chapter 60, Section 60-229, Use Regulations, Permitted Uses. This is the second reading, and I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilor Fournier and a second from Councilor Walker. Open this up to the public for comment. Is there anybody in the public that would like to comment? None being, I'll bring it back to the council. Is there any questions, debate, conversations, clarifications? None being, I'll ask the clerk to bring this to a roll call vote, please.
Counselor Lasagna,
Yes.
Counselor Hayes,
Yes.
Counselor Titus.
Yes.
Counselor Fournier,
Yes.
Counselor Walker,
Yes.
Counselor Young,
Yes.
Counselor Gary,
Yes.
The ordinance passes by a vote of 7-0. Okay, we're moving on to new business. We have Order 104-09092019, referring the zoning map amendment for 965 Minot Avenue to the Planning Board. I'll entertain a motion at this time.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion from, Councilor Fournier and a second from Councilor Gary. I'm going to open this up to the public for comment. Are there any members of the public that would like to comment? And as we wait, I believe this is in reference to Councilor Lasagna and Councilor Titus bringing forth the Petros request for a Garfield Road entrance access point, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Nobody from the public? Council, debate? Nothing? Okay.
Nope, just one
Oh,
question.
Councilor?
It was Counselor Gary who brought this forward
Fair enough.
with Counselor Tice, just to be clear. And there, I appreciate the petitions that were done. These were abutters, so it's people who actually,
No, they weren't. The gentleman at Petros was told that he should probably get signatures that were just in his area, so he got a lot of signatures, but those are not necessarily abutters. He has talked to, at the time I talked to him, he had talked to all but one abutter personally. Obviously, the planning board will be contacting each one and asking for their feedback before anything happens. And I did walk the lot and what he's proposing to do. And I told him that I felt that very possibly he could fit the road he wants to fit in to go onto Garfield Road within this area and still have quite a buffer between the next house that's with him. So it shouldn't be a problem there. But again, the planning board will have to work all that out. And I do think it'd be a good thing considering, and I live in that area, so I know how dangerous my avenue can be if we can have a different way for some vehicles, trucks to drive out. It is going to be an exit-only road, so it won't be a road that'll be two-way traffic on Garfield. He wants to just have enter from Minot Avenue, exit on Garfield, and come around and use the traffic stop there at Garfield Road.
That's going to be much, much safer.
Yep.
Because I go there a lot, too, and it's pretty scary.
Good way to support local business. Show of hands, all those in favor of the order? Opposed, abstained, none being. Order passes, vote 7-0. Next, we have an order 105-09092019, accepting the strategic plan report. I'll entertain a motion at this time.
I move we accept the strategic plan report.
second,
I have a motion from Councilor Fournier and a second from Councilor Lasagna. Open this up for public for comment. Are there any members of the public that would like to speak? None being, I'll bring this back to the council. Council, any conversation, comment on this? You had, this is in follow-up to the workshop that was presented by Mr. Grimes, who is the chairman of the strategic planning team, last meeting. Anything? Councilor?
Mr. Mayor, thank you very much. I have a couple of questions and concerns on this particular item. Although I am in full support of the strategic plan that was presented to us, I thought it was an excellent program and a great document, but I'm a little bit concerned about what we're doing here, and I just wanted to have a discussion, my opinion, that we have an order here, not a resolve, which is quite different when you're talking about the power that we're now giving. An order is a point of law, and a resolve is an opinion. So if we're going to make this an order, we are ordering staff to accept the report, which we don't know what that really means either, because there's a lot in that report. Are you willing to approve an order tonight, allowing what's in that report to go forward? Now, I'm not saying we're voting on those items, but we're sending an order, not a resolve. So my feeling is it should be a resolve, which means we support it. Our opinion is it's good, but we aren't approving anything within the report. We have to do that individually. But I'm fearful that this being an order is now going to send the message. And next year or the year after, when proposals are brought forward, it's going to be in the history page of the info sheet that the City Council approved by order, the strategic plan report. And this item was in that report, so was that what we want to do tonight? And I also would like to have the wording a little bit, although I think it's good that it says strategic plan report. I do know that the Strategic Planning Committee voted for the final recommendations, and that's what they really brought forward and thought was the thing that we need to look at. But we're voting on the entire report, not on just the final recommendations. So I have an issue with this item, and I'm not sure if anybody else does. I don't know if we can change it from an order to a resolve tonight, or do we have to defeat it first, and then it has to come back as a resolve, or can it be tabled? How do we do that? But
Let's. I think if I could, just from my perspective, and I saw the presentation, not videoed, of course. I wasn't here. I will say that when, in its essence, this is how I see it, and everybody could have a different opinion. But the essence is you are accepting a report. It doesn't mean you're approving it. Doesn't mean you're agreeing with it or not agreeing with it. You're just accepting it. That way, it is in the record. We do have it, and the information is present. I will say that the entire report, or the report in its entirety, should be accepted versus any type of summary, because the entire report has information, and we want to see information, so we should accept the entire report, because there's going to be some reference points that we can go back and so on and so forth. So, order or resolve, my opinion, if I had to give advice per charter to the council on this one, would be to accept this as an order because of its acceptance of the strategic plan, not an approval. That's my take on it, though I'd welcome the city manager to give me his interpretation and, actually Sue as well, from a clerk's standpoint, the difference between order and resolve. Maybe this can help clarify some of Councilor Titus's questions.
We've looked at this issue, and I respect and appreciate what Councilor Titus is saying. From my perspective, in terms of what we're doing here tonight, as the mayor has stated, I'm recommending that the council accept the strategic plan report so that we can move forward with it. And in the future, staff will be coming back to this council and the next council on recommendations that are in the report to see if the councilors want to move forward with implementing policies to make those recommendations turn into reality. Some of the things that we're already working on, as you know. Sue, I don't know if you have anything you want to add. I don't want to put you on the spot, but I think that I think the intent certainly is not to put the council in any kind of position where you're going to have any regrets about accepting the report. There's been a lot of work done on this report over the last several months, as you know.
I would agree with what you just said. We're accepting the report. We're not approving the report. It's going to be a work in progress.
because my question would be then, why did we have to have an order and not a resolve then, if it's just,
I guess the difference is maybe from a...
there's a huge difference between an
order and a resolve.
I'm not sure. Why does somebody have Diet Pepsi versus regular Pepsi? I mean, I guess from my
They can't find a Coke.
I guess
That's
from
right, there's no Diet Dr. Pepper in the vending
my
machine.
perspective, and again, I appreciate what you're saying, Counselor. I guess I was just thinking about it in terms of accepting the report so that then we can move forward, onward and upward.
Councilor Gary?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I too share the good Councilor Titus's feelings on this.
Any other comments on this before we try to do an action here to effectively accept or not accept a report? Any other comments?
I like the idea of what Andy is saying, but I understand Diet Pepsi and regular Pepsi because I've drank them both for years, but I want to know what you really think the difference is between the two, the order and...
Myself, I believe that the order is a point of law that says we have an instruction, out there. A resolve is an opinion. We agree with, we're sending out a resolve saying that we agree with the report, and we are behind it on opinion, but we're not stating anything. An order would be an order to go out and do something. Now, I know that they're saying accepting the order, so that doesn't mean we're automatically going to get another substation, a public safety building, filtration, and a few other things that are in there. But my concern is where it's an order, now when that comes back to council next year, the year after, it's going to be in the history as this was an accepted by order of the city council on September 9th, 2019. That's going to have a lot of teeth and a lot of clout 2 years from now, because it was an order that this council voted for. Now, the word accepting is going to be in there, but, I mean, I'm just a little bit nervous, that's all.
So, there's probably a couple of ways to circumvent this or solve this. Am I hearing, let me just back up a question. Am I hearing anyone have any issue with the strategic plan as written?
Not at all.
Any
I do not have
issue with the strategic plan?
I do not have an issue with the
process?
plan. No.
Okay, so
Not at all.
we're all in, it seems we're all in consensus that this plan needs to be accepted and brought in. It's just the best way to do it. To me, there seems to be two solutions. One is to add a clarifying statement under the order stating that the acceptance of this plan does not necessitate endorsement of each individual line items, nor does it hold this council or future councils obligatory to enacting. Something like that, a clarifying statement, or we simply make a motion to change this from an order to a resolve.
Well, if it can be done, my feeling is we'd like to
I
make a
think
motion.
it's simpler to do the resolve, don't you?
But I'm not sure. I have to say, I think that this is an important document. It is not, and there's not filtration. There are no specifics in here about how something will be done.
No, there
But I
aren't.
think it's important to give it weight as something that we accept as an order. To me, a resolve is sort of a weaker endorsement of this.
Correct.
And I think
But
a
there are those
stronger.
items. This report's full of those specific items.
But it's not telling us that we have to do these things.
I think extending the definition, as the mayor has said, extending that definition to say that this does not preclude that there will not be some adjustments made as necessary, because there's a lot of work still to be done on here. And I like everything in it, but it's the how-to. How is it going to get done, and when is it going to get done?
Councilor Hayes?
I see it strictly as an order to accept. And I guess if there's anything the final recommendations are general. There's nothing really specific here, but I think certainly it is a statement from those participating and a large portion of our public that took part in this. And I think they're general enough that they certainly cover whatever we will be doing in the future. So this final recommendations, yes, there's some specific thoughts that are here to be looked at, but as far as the final recommendations, they're very general. So I see, to me, it's an order to accept this plan and recognizing that they're very 11 general final recommendations.
Well,
Any other thoughts, comments on this?
No, I agree with.
Order to accept, okay. If there's no other comments, I'm going to bring this to a vote. All those in favor of accepting, actually, is this roll call, I'm sorry?
no, I don't.
No, it's in order.
No, it's not, it's just an order. I'm sorry. All those in favor of accepting the strategic plan report, please raise your hand. All those opposed? Abstain, none being? The order passes by a vote of 4-3. Next, order number 106-0909-2019, appointing Mr. Jonathan, or the Honorable Jonathan Labonte, to the Wilson Auburn Railroad Company with a 3-year term from April of 2019 to April of 2022. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
Oh, man. Okay. You're all in harmony over on the right side of my ear. Who made the motion? Councilor Hayes? Second, Councilor Gary? Okay, we'll run with that one. I'll open this up to the public for comment. Are there any members of the public that would like to speak? None being. Bring this back to the council. Any member of the council, just a little background. Jonathan's been instrumental in the rail study for passenger rail. He was He's currently serving as Auburn's representative on the LA Railroad Corporation, which is a separate corporation. I would recommend that legacy knowledge continue with him, and also the chair, Dick Trafton, did recommend that he continue out, or excuse me, have a second term. I think the legacy knowledge and the continuity here is going to be important, so I'll say that. Any other comments, questions? Councilor Lasagna?
Do we feel that we have adequately addressed the issue of how this came forward?
Yeah, there's doing a little, and I talked to the city staff, city manager and assistant city manager, and if I could, you can always, if I miss something, please. There is in the bylaws, this should be through, the council needs to obviously vote on it, but it needs to be gone through in the future, the appointment process. So it has not historically, so that precedent has been set, but in the future it does need to.
So historically, this particular position has not gone through the appointments committee?
No, last time I made an appointment to this committee was Dick Trafton back in 2018, beginning of 2018. It was a re-up of his previous. I made it, the council approved to it. It did not go through the application process, or the appointment process, I'm sorry.
I'll accept it, but I still think we need to really be paying attention to the process.
Yeah, you know what, there's a couple of these that keep popping up the more we look at it. For example, on the ethics committee, the mayor needs to be appointing a member of the mayor's committee. That didn't happen and went through the application process. So it's going a little bit of both ways. So yes, I think a heightened sense of alertness, and as we keep cleaning this up, I think it gets better. But on the next appointment for this, it does have to go through the application committee. Okay? Any other questions? Comments? I'll bring this up to a vote. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstained? Denied? The appointment carries 7-0. Next, moving on, is Order 107-09092019, approving the liquor license application for Pierrette's C'est Si Bon Cafe. DBA Pierrette C'est Si Bon Cafe, a new business located at 550 Center Street, the Old Papagenos. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilor Fournier and a second from Councilor Walker. Public, do we have any comment? Then being, I'll bring it back to the council. Any other comment or questions from the council on this? None? Okay. I'm going to ask for a vote by a show of hands. All those in favor? Okay. The order carries 7-0. Moving on to reports. Mayor's report. Since I have been gone for, it seems 2 years, but only about a month, my report isn't that long. Thank you all, and thank you, just a special thanks to Councilor Titus for being Mayor Pro Tem during my absence. I appreciate that. I had warm thoughts of all of you while I was away for about 30 seconds. Then, on to business. A lot of stuff going on right now. So we're in September. This is Healthy Auburn Month, part of our sesquicentennial celebration. I'm going to let Councilor Lasagna, who's been heading this up, along with staff, really dig down into that. I will talk about a couple other events in September, though. We have our second annual Blues and Brews Festival. It will be held on September 29th. September 29th, Saturday of Dempsey Challenge. Actually, I take it back, September 28th. That's Saturday of the Dempsey Challenge. In the afternoon, go onto our website, auburn150.com. You'll find more information. Follow us on Facebook. You will see a lot of great information. We have a whole slew of bands lined up. Great sponsors with Auburn Savings Bank. We're going to have local beer poured via Gritty's, and they'll be pouring other Auburn microbrews at that day. I really think this is going to be a nice fall addition to the Dempsey Challenge weekend, and something more to be happening on the Auburn side of the river, too, to help people from away really get a full taste of the overall community. So I encourage everybody to show up. Leading into Alumni Weekend, November 1 and 2. Also known as Welcome Home Weekend. This, I want to spend just a little bit of time on because I'm going to need everybody's help on the council and staff and everybody at home. This is the last Ever-Little Lewiston football game at Walton Field before the high school is built and before they go to a new field. A lot of memories obviously happen in that field, especially those of us who graduated from Ever-Little. A lot of great memories. It is going to be, we think, the whole weekend is going to be phenomenal. We're going to have alumni participating in games, football, softball, field hockey on Saturday. We're going to have our dedication of our brand-new age-friendly center happening at Pettingale Park that Saturday as well. We are also going to, knock on wood, have an unveiling of the second tallest monument in the state of Maine, the tower to commemorate the Bells of St. Louis, happening in Anniversary Park. Other things are happening. Go to auburn150.com. If you went to Edward Little, even if you went to Lewiston, you're invited. If you went from away and want to see some great history, some great folks celebrating so many years of good rivalry between the two cities, go. Come be a part of it, of all ages. We're going to have Walton Gym opened up with a game on the big screen, so regardless of inclement weather or ability level to climb those bleachers, you'll be able to participate in the fun. Big weekend, can't stress it enough. Everybody needs to be talking about it. The whole goal here is to really say goodbye to the old Edward Little and hello to the new Edward Little. So that's what we're all going to be working for over that weekend. Also, I want to tell you that I'm pretty proud of this event. When we first came up with New Year's Auburn as part of our kickoff, our Seska Centennial, it was like I threw a stick of dynamite into a pool. Everybody was kind of on edge. Nobody knew what was going to happen. We threw an event, even with inclement weather, and it being a first-time event. It was a huge success. And the planning officially starts tomorrow on New Year's Auburn. It's going to be a reoccurring event. Knock on wood, weather participates a little bit better, but even though we're excited, I think now we have a trend going on. And I remember seeing a lot of ABA members, a lot of community members, a lot of counselors there. It was a great event. So let's start talking about that. Let's keep people in Auburn and have a good, safe ring into the New Year's. That's it for my mayor's report. I think, yes. So thank you very much. Turn it over to the counselors. Let's start on the left with Councilor Young.
Yes, this last weekend, Auburn had its Lake Auburn Half and 5K road race, and as part of my report, it's an event I never participated in running myself, and yet to do that, but I've always taken photos, and there's about 1,000 photos up, and there was very well attended, I think more than 500 people between the two races, and everybody seemed to have a great time, and there were people from pretty much all over the state. Lewiston Auburn was very prominent there, but there were other people down south to Portland, and it was good to see that we own the best half marathon, I think, in Androscoggin County.
Yeah, we are. If people don't realize that Auburn is the running capital of Maine. So we run more miles in the city than anybody else. So thank you for
around
Councilor
that
Young.
Beautiful Lake Auburn.
I heard they took a swim afterwards to cool down too.
I don't know about that. I didn't take any pictures of that.
Councilor Walker.
I don't have anything for tonight.
I have just a couple of things. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I did my walking the wards on Saturday at 10 o'clock, and I did it all by myself because nobody was there. I did have two young ladies who were there for a wedding at the Hilton, so I kind of showed them the way around because they wanted to take a walk and wanted to know where to go. So I think that probably, I don't know what the problem was, probably better communication perhaps would have been to the public. I know we got the information through our means, but I think it could have been a better job done out there. I have a report on the library. A staff member has left to go to another place, so we're recruiting another staff member there. And the third item I'm going to report on is the school committee. We had a school committee meeting this last week, and there was concern about the superintendent's evaluation and the rushing of it. I'm the one that raised the question, and I really pushed to have the process happen and have timelines adhered to. And so I'm happy to say that this is, of course, in the policy, if you would like to take one of these. And this is for Andrew, if he wants it. So this policy is in the policy that we have among our policy manuals. I have said that the policies, there are two of them referring to superintendent's evaluation, and I really truly believe it needs to be a lot more stringent than it is. I know we expect a lot from our teachers. They go through an awful lot with their evaluation system, and we really need to tighten up for our leader of our school system. So I was happy to see the results turn out the way it was. We had standing room only. We had parents all through here, so they were concerned as well. So I'm hoping that things are on the uplift at this point. The Portland newspaper did have an article dealing with the effectiveness of the Auburn schools. The reason why Auburn was interviewed is because Lewiston was supposed to be the first school system that Portland, excuse me, I have bloody nose here. So Lewiston was supposed to be interviewed, but because they did not find any concerns regarding the acceptance of immigrants within their city, they felt supported, so they decided to come to Auburn and interview people in Auburn, and that's how the item got into the newspaper. And then, thank you very much, appreciate it. I had a nosebleed early today, so it's happening again.
If you want, we can come right back to you.
Pardon me?
We can come back to your report?
No, I'm all set. I think basically that's what we have here. I did wanted to make an announcement that I spoke with the superintendent today, and she said that that there would be a celebration of life to be held on Sunday at 2:00 at the ELHS gymnasium, and it'll be done through the school system, and there will be a private interment with a family in celebration of life. So this will be a public celebration of life, and she's pretty sure it'll be at 2:00 at Sunday. So we talked about it this afternoon, so be watching for announcements.
Very good, thank you. Thank you. Councilor Titus.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple of things. Went to the recent sewer and water district meeting since our last meeting. Both boards are working with the evaluation process for the superintendent and job description revisions and trying to get that squared away. They didn't have a real process before, but we're getting there to have one this time. Quite a process, especially when you didn't have one before.
I'm just glad the city manager is not the only one getting evaluated in the city now. This is great.
We also had
Company.
on the water side, we're also working on an appointment process whenever the water department, water district trustees, have to approve members of the Lake Auburn Watershed Protection Commission, and we're in the midst of using our process for the first time right now and having a few hiccups in that we followed the process, but we couldn't quite get a consensus, so we're going to be voting again in October for our appointment to the Lake Auburn Watershed Protection Commission. But that's a new process as well, having an appointment process rather than just the group getting together and deciding who. So that's good. On the sewer side, they finished their study using the smoke system, if everybody remembers seeing smoke coming out of, and they found several catch basins that were tied into the sanitary sewer that they didn't even know existed, or they were kind of remote areas. So they're even getting closer to their goal of having no overflows into the river at all, period. They do have some occasionally, unfortunately, but it's very small in comparison to other cities and to across the river. But we think we can get to that. So that was it on the Sewer and Water District trustees. The Androscoggin County Budget Committee will meet for the first time on the 11th, that is this Wednesday, to start their deliberations. We have 4 members from Auburn contingency that's going to be at that meeting, which will be really nice because we pay half the bill. Well, between us and Lewiston, we pay half the bill. 2 points of interest that I've found so far. One of them is I've been told that we're looking at somewhere around a 4% increase this year on the preliminary budget. And another point of interest is they want to invest $615,000 in their communication system and pay for it over 10 years or something like that, which is something that the Budget Committee will be approving as well. So there's already some interest, but Wednesday we'll just be talking about the agenda, and they have to elect a chair and an assistant chair and then make the schedule for it. They usually get through all of the budgets in 3, maybe 4 meetings, depending on how many Tituses are there. It slows things up a little bit. But anyway, starts Wednesday, so at 6 o'clock at the county building.
Very good, thank you. Councilor Hayes?
Just a little more information. I mentioned the High Street pantry operation. It's actually more than just distribution of food. We've actually gotten into a book bank, which I think for a lot of the immigrants, of course, we have a lot of the children's books actually are, with the children's books, a lot of the adults are learning English. We also work very closely with the Androscoggin Home Health. Not only do we have clients that come through to pick up, but then through Androscoggin Home Health, we actually prepare boxes that some of their people come in and take to families that can't get to the pantry. We do serve out, up to 60 per week. Each party can go out with 30 to 50 pounds of produce, meats. We do have a good relationship with Hannaford on 2 days, Tuesdays, Wednesdays. We pick up pastry, breads, meats. On Thursday morning, we're out at Good Shepherd by about 7 o'clock to be ready to load. Usually it's 3, sometimes 4 trucks, pickup trucks that we bring in. It's all volunteer staff. We get in, some of us are in by 6:15 to handle the materials that have come in from Hannaford, then ready to receive the pickup trucks coming in starting around 7:30. We start serving at 9:30. We serve through 9:30. There's an invitation out to anybody that would like to participate, volunteer for a day. I'll take your names. I'll give those to an Eric Howe who puts together the volunteer crew for each week. But it is an operation that really started with a local Rotary Club, and they have worked closely not only with the Good Shepherd, with Hannaford, but then we also taken a monthly federal allotment of canned goods and dry goods. So if anybody wants to volunteer on a Thursday morning, I'll take your names and we'll build you into the crew.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Hayes. Councilor Lasagna?
I attended the West Auburn Neighborhood Watch Group. Deputy Chief Kugel, who runs it, and is much beloved by the group because I was really a far second when I was there, but the group is very interested in the community, and it was great to hear what their thoughts and concerns were. I do have to note Jody Dorisco leaving, and there have probably been other people have said it, but she's going to be missed. I let her know that she helped me along with the city clerk to sort of get my bearing when I first came on the council, and that was much appreciated. In terms of Healthy Auburn, Sabrina Best is actually the person who is directing this project, so I can only speak to a couple of things. I know that there's a healthy recipe, I think, that comes out once a month. The Walk the Ward, unfortunately, has not been extremely well coordinated or publicized, so I'm not sure what will happen with that. I love the idea, and it was great when we discussed it, but I'm sure it's a lot of work, so I'm not sure where that will go. And in terms of the New Year's Eve, if we can have the fireworks at 10, that was great. I know everybody has them at midnight, and I just think it was great so people could do that and then go home, especially with their families. So
Maybe this time we can have 2, maybe 10 and midnight. So we'll have
I
both.
mean, if you wanted to, it'd be great. But I know that a lot of people appreciated it because and not because of the weather, but just then they had little kids and they could get home later on.
I agree with you, Council.
Come to the committee meetings.
was a great
That's all
event,
I gotta say.
but-
Come to the meetings. No, I think that was a general consensus by a lot of people, so I think it's going to be taken into consideration. Councilor Gary?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Lewiston Auburn Transit Committee will be meeting this Wednesday at 12:30 out to ABCOG. Anybody that's concerned about the city bus, the routes, we just had a public hearing on route changes last week. So if you weren't able to attend those and you wanted to add comments, you could either email or call or contact myself, and let me know your concerns, your needs, and what you think about the changes. Or you're more than welcome to come out to our meetings. We do allow the public to speak at our Lewis and Auburn Transit Committee meeting. Again, it's this coming Wednesday at 12:30 p.m. out to ABCOG. And then on the 18th, First Auburn Seniors is meeting, and they're having a pizza sort of party. If you want to join us at the pizza party, you've got to call Frank Pippin to have him know that you come. It costs $6 for your lunch, and that includes a soda, and there's also coffee provided. And it's a great time to meet with people our age, and at least it's great to be able to fellowship with someone your age that knows sort of what you are going through. And then after the meeting and after the fantastic pizza lunch, they always play Beano. Each month is a different theme luncheon. This last meeting, we had to go up to Norway Savings because the gym, Norway Savings Ice Arena, because the gym was going under renovations. And we got treated to hot dogs, soda, and chips. And that was very well accepted. The young gentleman that runs the concession stand, he did an excellent job. Those hot dogs were early, right on, well, they were cooked, and they were hot, ready, and wicked good. So kudos to the young gentleman, and kudos to the rec department for picking up the tab.
Thank you. Mr. Manager?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Rec Department does a great job, Rec and Sports Tourism Department. We just had our third consecutive employee barbecue, which I thought went very well. I appreciate the mayor being there and councilors who were present. It was a good turnout. I think that's increasing every year. Employees appreciate that. They are our most important asset as a city. They do the work every day, and they make a huge difference in terms of what happens in the city. Council Lasagna and Jody DeRisco, we have a lot of very dedicated, capable employees with the city, and sometimes they retire or they leave for other job opportunities. Jody has been a very valuable member of the city manager's office team and has contributed greatly to what we've done and has worked well with all of us. We're sorry to see her leave, but we're happy for her because she's pursuing a dream. She's going to be and is the HR director for the town of Brunswick. Today was her first day, so we're thinking of you, Jody. And
She's probably not watching.
no, she probably is, actually.
She probably is.
And I just want to mention this because I said that I would. Last meeting, I was asked about this. The Bates College survey, there were problems with the process. I've talked to Professor Haynes about that. He understands that. I simply think that the Conservation Commission and the Planning Board and the Council should decide what they want to do regarding that. And I also want to mention that there's a 9/11 ceremony that's taking place this Wednesday at the Central Fire Station at 8 a.m. There'll be a blood drive at 1 p.m. I don't have to say any more about the significance of what occurred with 9/11. It's an opportunity for us to think about and recognize the first responders in this country and certainly in this community. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Open session, last open session of the night. Anybody from the public would like to speak? Please speak now.
Good evening, Brian Carrier, 32 Constellation Drive. Just wanted to give a sort of a thank you to the board, to Bob. I attended the last airport board meeting this last week, and the concern that was brought forward about the aircraft that's sitting out at the old Roundy property. The airport did attempt to move it. Appreciate the effort. It's just hard to move it now with no wheels. They did end up tearing the front of the plane off.
Are these, I'm sorry, are these part of the Bombardier scrap planes? Constellations are gone.
Yes,
Okay.
and actually they've done, the airport manager has taken care of the matter for any future airplanes they have. They've put them in a location now that the aircraft cannot be seen by the public going by. And we just appreciate the effort that you guys have taken to make sure that's getting done.
Good. No, thank you very much, Mr. Carrier, and thank you, Councilor Hayes, too, for sitting on that board on that one. Very good. Anybody else from the public? None being, I'll close this public session. We don't have an executive session, so I'm going to entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion for Councilor Forney and a second from Councilor Azonia. All those in favor? We are now adjourned by vote 7-0. Thank you, and have a good night.